Hello, my name is Matt Quammen, and today I'm going to be introducing you or teaching you about Kahoots in a job aid slash mini manual fashion. Um, so today, dealing with Kahoots, I first like to explain what a Kahoot is. So a Kahoot is a fun learning game. It is a game that teachers, students, anyone can go online and make one themselves, find one, use one, and it's a fun learning game made from a series of multiple choice questions. And you can also use many different types of questions, but multiple choice is the typical and preferred question for a Kahoot. It's a it's a formative assessment type game. It shows teachers quick, instant feedback of what their students know. It also is a great way to do a brain break, something fun, non-topic that kind of gets the students to think about something that's not necessarily what they're currently learning. Kahoots are best played in group sessions and settings like classrooms. You can do them anywhere. You can play them at home. You can play them in a cafeteria. As long as you have connection to the internet, you can play a Kahoot. Um, Players answer on their own devices, while games are displayed on a shared screen, usually on an overhead or on a smart board. There needs to be a screen so people can see what the question is, to see the answers, and then they select on their own device. They call this, through Kahoot, a campfire moment where everyone's together, bonding, but competing at the same time. And lastly, anyone can play as long as they have connection to the internet. So whether they're on their phone, their tablet, on their laptop, as long as they have connection to the internet and they can get to the Kahoot website, they can play Kahoot. So today, what I'm going to do is basically teach you about Kahoots if you haven't worked with them. Maybe you have worked with them, and this is just kind of a refresher course, kind of letting you know and reminding you how to use certain things and do certain things on here. So this is kind of like my checklist of things that you're going to learn throughout this video. So today you'll learn how to create your own account if you don't already have one. You're going to learn how to manage your homepage, kind of see what's on your homepage, how to use the certain things that are on there. Using the searching toolbar to find already made public Kahoots. Then I'm going to teach you how to edit public Kahoots. So if you like what somebody's already made, but you want to kind of change it up, or maybe the answer's wrong, I'm going to teach you how to do that. I then will teach you how to create your own brand new Kahoots, kind of give you that creating sense, maybe make it special to your class, unique. Then I'm going to teach you how to share. How do you share them maybe with your students, how you share them with your peers, maybe you want to share them just even online, just maybe make them public for other people. So I'll show you how to do that. And then lastly, how you start an actual Kahoot, what that looks like on your side, and then what the students actually see. So as this video is over, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through it and I'm going to list the times of when in the video I say certain things or go about this, so you can refer back to this checklist to see what time on the video, so you can scroll through. If you're just trying to look at editing Kahoots or starting a Kahoot, you can see at what time on the video you can see that. So on the last slide, this slide here, I'll have the video, the website, so you can click onto that and then you can refer back to this to see where I actually speak about that. So here we go. Let's talk about Kahoot. So I already have this loaded up for you. So the website is www.getkahoot.com or https://getkahoot.com. So all you have to do is get up here to this screen, and this is your home screen. So you could watch videos that kind of teach you or explain to you what this is, but that's what I'm here. I'm going to give you a more in-depth version of this. So all you have to do is, it's a free site, and all you do is you just sign up for free. You're going to click up sign up for free, and you're going to sign in. So you say your role. So your role as a teacher, and then you talk about your school. You add your username, how you want your students to see you. So Mr. Quatman for me, I would write that up here, Mr. Quatman, and they will see that as any email from me referring to a Kahoot I want them to use. You also have to put in your email and a password, so that's how you log in. So for me, what I do is I already have an account. So if this was me, all right, I would already say I already have an account. Let me sign into my account. So I'm already logged in. So I just type in my email address and bam, I'm in here. So this right here, this is your home screen. All right, so once you sign in, this is your home screen, and the home screen allows you to do a lot of different things. So up here in the top left, it's say the new K. That means how do you create a new Kahoot. We'll go about that later on in this video, but I'm just kind of showing you what all these different things. My Kahoot, this is a tab that shows you the things that you make yourself, maybe your own that you've made or edited yourself. Public Kahoots, that's where over 8.6 million people have made their own Kahoots and shared their own. And then from here, there's a lot of different things you can do with that. There's frequently asked questions and support. One thing up here in the top right, there's your login screen. So what you can do is you can actually have like a profile picture, email preferences. So do you want kids to email you a Kahoot back? Maybe you can give that as an assessment or assignment. Maybe you can do that. They share them with other classes of the same subject. And this is where you're actually going to look at your results for your students, how well they're doing. If it is a formative assessment on the subject that you're currently working on and not just a brain break, you can look at your results up here. You also can change passwords and do other things like that. So let's go back to the basics and let's get started now. So this is your home page. All right. Back here in your home page, you also can look here on the right side, just different resources. So just different things you might want to do, how you can actually, if you're into Kahoot, you can teach how to do a Kahoot. There are different streaks and team modes. I've done this. It's a new phase that brain breaks are traditionally done one at a time, like one person per unit, one device. You actually can do 3 or 4 students on one device. So if you had like a classroom set of iPads, or maybe 6 computers in a classroom, you can split your groups up, your classes up at each of the computers, and they can work as a team. It also will show your stats. So any student who will log in, or you will log in, you can see how many different players you've had go on here, how many people have selected your Kahoots that you've made as favorites, how many you've selected as a favorite, and all these different things. The one thing that I like are the things that I've recently used. And I'm going to show you how you do this, but this just kind of shows what are the past things that I've done. So I traditionally like to do some brain teasers and things. I use it more for brain break activities, but I have actually used this for formative assessments also. So this is the home screen. This is where you're going to go, whether you're going to use your own Kahoot, make your own Kahoot, share your own Kahoot. It all starts here. So the next thing that I'm going to show you is searching public Kahoots. So once you log in and you're on here and you're like, I would like to use a Kahoot, I want to do a Kahoot. Maybe I'm not that skilled to make my own Kahoot, or I don't know exactly what I want to do. Maybe I'll get some ideas. What you can do is go up here to the public Kahoot, and over 8.6 million people have given different Kahoots, different assessments about a plethora of different things. It's unbelievable how many different Kahoots are up here and about the same stuff, and have just different questions and all this great stuff. So what I would say is, from here, I would go and I'd look at all these different things that are up here. So all basically is every Kahoot that you have. Most popular, that could be, we'll click on that, we can look at that. So these are ones that people have used this. So clearly teachers and other people have used this more for brain breaks, clearly brain teasers, cartoon characters, brand names, logos. It's just a great way, fun, easy thing to kind of break up the monotony of a classroom. One thing that I've actually started doing at the end of the school year was what's trending, like what's something that's trending more in my classroom. I teach ESL students, so they're huge into football or soccer. So it was the start of the Euro Cup and the Copa America, so we were doing stuff on soccer, and with the new Disney movie, the Finding Dory movie, they have Disney characters because that's new out there. So it really kind of keeps you up to date and kind of are things that are hip and new and current. It's a great thing for teachers to see that. And then there's also a trending near you. So I live in outside of Chicago, so clearly we have the Copa America here, so clearly that's a big one. Muhammad Ali, him passing, they have more Muhammad Ali stuff. What else? More Euro, capitals of the city. There's just a lot of different things that you can do and see from others that have already created it. So why reinvent the wheel? Why not just use it and make it a little bit better, or adapt it to your own students and what you're learning in your curriculum? So let's talk now about once you found a Kahoot, what how do you edit it? What if it doesn't have what you want, or maybe it's incorrect or something? So let me go back to all, and I'm going to do this. I'm a math teacher, so I'm going to just do algebra. Let's do algebra. So again, it's very vague. If you want something, more specific, like systems of equations, systems of equations. Now you can see there's a bunch of algebra stuff, and really they just kind of list anything that's algebra, but this is more specific, system of equations. Let's see if they got one. Here we go, solving systems of equations. So you can see who made it, how many questions there are, and then right here in purple, if I wanted to play it, I could play it right now, and my students, myself, and my friends, we can all play this right now. But from here, editing it is a big thing. So before you ever do a Kahoot, I truly ask you that you preview it. And how you preview it is you just click on the thing that you want to look at. So clearly I'm doing solving systems. So you want to just read through what questions there are. So you might think, oh man, solving systems, it's going to be great for my kids. But if I teach high school, this is going to be these are great questions that I would ask. But maybe you're doing systems for middle school. Well, these questions might be a little more advanced. It might be something that's going to throw your kids off and really kind of turn them off from what you're learning and not have the excitement. So it's important that you look and preview all your questions first. So you look through here and you're like, oh man, these are really great. You know what? I don't want to change anything. I think this is perfect for my students. Boom. Let's go play, and we can go ahead and get to that entire set. But say you're like, you know what, I really don't like this, a constant system that's independent. You know what, my kids don't know that, or that's a question I wouldn't ask, or I have no idea. So what you can do to edit, how you have to edit this, is you have to take your Kahoot that you've chosen and you have to make it a favorite. So you got to click on this orange button and make it a favorite. So you can see up here, it says success, the Kahoot's been added as your favorite list. Now the reason you have to do that is because this has already been made by somebody else. So what we're basically doing is we're copying it and we're taking the rights of it, and we now can edit it and change it up to however we want. So we'll go back to my Kahoot. And going back to my Kahoot, you're now out of the public set, and now you're in your own Kahoot setting. So up here in your My Kahoots, you can look at ones you've created yourself. You can look at your favorites, and that's where the last one that I just clicked on is there. You can see solving systems, yay. All right, it's there. Or ones that are shared with you. Maybe other peers, maybe other people who are making Kahoots are sharing them. They like the ones that you made, they can go ahead and share with you. But anyway, let's go and edit that system of equations one. So once you click on systems of equations, what you can do, all right, is you can, once it's in here, you can now duplicate this, because you have to have it in your my favorites. You have to duplicate it, and now once you duplicate it, you see how it says draft? That allows you to edit. So if you look back before I said duplicate it, notice up here it doesn't say edit. There's no edit anywhere on here. So you're like, oh man, I can't edit this thing. Well, I guess I just have to give them those questions and tell them just guess. No, you duplicate it and you make it your own. And now what you can do, as you can see, I never finished continue editing. What I can do is I can edit the questions. I can go and say, all right, edit now. And this is how you can edit. We can go to any question that we had, and we can go and say, all right, you know what? I really didn't like question 1 or 2 or 3. So if you look, here's question number 2. A consistent system that is dependent has how many solutions? So if you look at this and you're like, you know what, I really didn't like this question at all, what you can do is you can actually delete a question. If you look down here at the bottom of my screen, you can delete it, you can add a question, you can duplicate it, maybe you like it, or maybe there's a question, maybe you just want to change the order around of how these answers are. So you can do all those things. So I'm like, you know what, I really don't like question number 2. That was just a bad question. I don't think that fits my students. So now that question's gone. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, all right, I like everything, but maybe let me go and look. You know what? I thought number 4, I thought the answer to number 4 for this solution wasn't correct. So what you can do is you actually can click on all the questions that are down here, 1 through 12, or however many there are. You can edit the questions that are up here up at the top. And what you can do is you can actually edit the answers. So if you're like, oh, it's not 3-2, it's 2-3 or 3 whatever, you can change it to whatever you want, 2-3, all right? And when you do make these things and you do edit them, make sure you look and you click on the one that's correct. So if this is the correct answer, make sure it says correct. Otherwise, when your students select it and they click the right answer, but you never marked it as the correct one, it's going to show up as they did it incorrectly. So that's just something. Or here's the thing too, is maybe in a specific problem there actually are multiple answers. You could actually make more than one thing correct, so they don't necessarily have to just get one. They can get one or the other or both, and that's how you can do that. Another thing that you can do with editing is this person has selected 20 seconds for each question to be answered. So what you can do is you can actually make it shorter or longer. It basically is just how quickly do you want your students to give you a solution, or how quickly do you want them to be paced. That again is something that's up to you, how you want to look at those things. Here's another thing down here. As you can tell, because this is multiple choice, what you can do is you can actually add or subtract different answers that you want. Like maybe you don't want 4 solutions on here, maybe you just want 2. So what you can do is you can actually go to each one and you can add or subtract or whatever you want to do to what's there. So I'll just subtract those, and I just want them to choose this one or this one. So now I went down from 4 questions or 4 solutions to 2 solutions, and they just have to choose from there. So it's a lot of different things that you have as an editor in this field that you can go about. So if you're all good and you went through and you've changed or deleted the questions that you want, you save, you continue, boom. So now this is your solving systems. And notice it says duplicate because you've now edited it and changed it. It says duplicate. So now maybe you want to say it's like Mr. Klopman's solving systems of equations. So now it's mine, and by having my name, now my students can go and they could actually search and find my own Kahoots that I've made without me even sharing them, as long as I make them public. So I'm going to save, continue, and notice here. So notice I just said something about sharing it and making it public. So as long as I make it public here, anyone in the world, any country, as long as they have the internet, could figure out and find my own Kahoots to work on them and practice them. So what I like to do is any Kahoot that I make, I like to put Mr. Klopman's blah, 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 blah. So now they just go ahead and type in their search engine Mr. Klopman, and they can find any subject that they've learned or maybe will be learning, and they can do Kahoots about those. So you can either make them private or public. When you make them public, anyone can search for you by a keyword, solving systems of equations or Mr. Klopman or whatever. Or if you make them private, that means you just keep them to yourself, but you still have the ability to share these things. You can share them with each other. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit later, but you just have this ability to share, make them private or public. I'm going to leave this as public. And here's another thing. All right, so along with students being able to search or other teachers being able to search, you can actually put descriptions. So if you want to do systems of equations, you can do that. You could put in review. You could also do certain things like algebra. So just any type of keyword that you'd want them to do, graphing. So anything that you possibly want, as soon as the teacher types this in, they could actually get your systems of equations thing, even though they might have typed in graphing. But as long as this has some graphing in it, they can go ahead and use that, and it might be something helpful. So for me, I'm done, I'm saving, I'm continuing, boom, I'm done. So here we go. So now anyone, because I made it public, can look this up and you can find this. You could actually go and check this thing out right now if you'd like to. But anyway, all right, that's how you edit public Kahoots. So anytime you want it, you just go and you make it your favorite and you duplicate it. And that's how it's now yours, and you can edit it for your own students or for whoever you're going to try to assess or play with. So here we go. So now you have some idea. Maybe you've looked, you've searched, you've edited it, and you're like, I'm ready to make my own Kahoot. I'm ready to create my own Kahoot. Here we go. So what you're going to do is you're going to click the purple button up here, the new K. And this is new Kahoot. So it says, are you sure you want to, oh, this is just, okay. I'm going to click this again. So new K. So create your new Kahoot. How is this thing going to go? Let's go. Where is it? Come on, buddy. There we go. All right. So creating my new Kahoot. All right. Now that I'm on back to my home screen, down here, you get to choose your Kahoot that you want to do. So there's a couple different ways. The more obvious way to use a Kahoot would be in a quiz style, but you can also do a discussion and a survey. I've actually done a survey at the end of the year for what they wanted to do for their review, how they wanted to review for finals. So do you want to do a study session at the beginning? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do groups? Do you want to do pairs? So that's actually a fun way to do it. If you want to do something other than just raise your hands or put your heads down, because some kids are a little swayed by their peers at this age. But anyway, a traditional Kahoot is in a quiz style. So you're just going to click quiz, and then let's start by giving it a name. So again, as a math teacher, I will do adding. Adding is my quiz. So I'm going to go and say, that's the quiz that I want to go. So once you've started your quiz, now you can choose all these different things kind of back to where you were editing. So making your own, it's very similar to editing, but you're just starting from scratch now. So if I'm doing adding, my question can be just whatever I want. So if I want to do, okay, 5 plus 8, all right, boom. Now I have to have some answers. I have to figure out what I want to do with this. So again, there's a lot of different ways, to make it your own. But again, if I'm trying to add it, 5 plus 8 is 13. I'll make the first answer 10, 13. I'll have them subtract. I'll make it 3 and -3. Okay, so here are all my things. Now, again, I get a bunch of different things that I can do. If I didn't want to put the question up here, I could actually do screenshots, and you can actually turn those into images and choose your file. So if you wanted to make a bunch of different like images of the adding or subtracting or whatever you're doing, maybe you're an art teacher and you're like, I want my students to be able to tell me who the artist is for this painting. You could actually download your images, save them, and then click them on here, and whatever you want to do, you can upload them on there, and you can say your question is, who painted this picture? Who did this? And you can use images as your way to create your quiz. So I can do a million of these. I can adjust the time. 20 seconds is perfect. Points per question. Now here's the thing. So Kahoot is a point challenge assessment. So what that means is the quicker a student answers a question, the more points they'll get, as long as it's correct. So the more time they take to do the problem, the less points they get. So for me, I found the incentive of having points gets the students excited and kind of gets them to try to think a little bit under pressure. But if this is, just something where you're just trying to get an idea of what your students know, no points, you just want to go through it, you can have no points per question, and the students would not be rated at the end of this. And I'll talk about the rating system in a little bit. So anyway, points per question, I like that. So what I can do is I can keep adding questions. So I'm like, all right, hey, I really like that. I can add a question. Or if I'm like, you know what, I want to change this up, and I just actually really like this entire question, I just want to go and say, hey, now I want to, oops, sorry, notice this, and thank you, before I went any further, it said, oops, you must have one correct answer. Notice I didn't say any of these were correct yet. So 13 was correct. There's my correct answer. So anyway, back to what I was saying, because I really like everything that I have set up here. I spent a lot of time doing this. I just want to duplicate now. I just want to just go ahead and take this, and I want to say, all right, instead of 8 now, I want to make this 10. So now my correct answer, I'm going to change it from here. I'm going to make this 15. So literally go here, make this my correct answer, and I can keep going at the same pace. And notice down here, I can see how many questions that I have. So I got 2. I can go back to the previous question, which is 1, go to the next one, and that's how you just scroll through these so you can see them. So up here at the top, you can kind of see where you're at throughout the process of creating your Kahoot. So you already made your name, you got your questions. So those 2 questions, wonderful. That's a great Kahoot right there. So we're going to save, we're going to continue. And now it allows you, and I like this, you can reorder your questions. Maybe you want it to go progressively harder. So you start with easy ones, make the hard ones at the end, or maybe you want to mix it up. Maybe all these adding, maybe you want to throw in some subtracting. You can change things up, or you can even at the end say, you know what, I realize that I've had 4 choices for everything. Why don't I have 2 choices or 3 choices? It just gives you another way to look at these things, because sometimes when you make an assessment and you're sitting there on paper, you get a better idea. But after you make one question after another, you kind of forget what they look like when you don't have them all on one page. So I like this format where you can see and adjust from there. So now I say I like my order. So now I'm back to editing. So again, who do I want to see this? So again, I'm going to make this public. All right. I want everyone to see this. My audience. Now here's the thing. So it says this is now because more businesses have been using this for getting people to see their companies or see what they're advertising out there. So if you just want it to be a school thing, click school. If you're higher education, go university. These are for other people. I always put my stuff for school. I actually have just this summer, because I have really enjoyed using Kahoots, I've made a couple fun Kahoots for my friends to use when we come over and have some barbecues, and I made those social ones. So it was kind of just like, brain teasers, things like that. Just fun things that we can do to be competitive and kind of have some fun with that. So I'm going to make this school. I can do a description, adding. Again, that's in the name. So I will save this, and boom. Now there are 8.6 million plus mine that I just created right here. Now, here's the thing that you can also do is, say you're doing something, maybe cars or automotives or whatever. You can actually put images on the home screen. You can put actually movies. As you look at some of these, especially ones that aren't subject based, more like logos or brain teasers, they actually have movies and stuff at the front of them. It's really cool. It's something different. It allows you to kind of have your own little special flair and touch on these things. I'm a math teacher, and not knocking any math teachers. We're not the most creative people in the world, so I'm going to keep mine blank, and I'm going to finish my Kahoot. So we can go ahead and start playing this. So once you have this Kahoot, and you've created it and you like it, now this Kahoot is actually, that I have here, is now in my Kahoots that are up here. So I'll go to another screen that I have. So if you look back at my Kahoots, you're going to notice I have my adding Kahoot that I've just made, and I have that draft of that other solving systems on here. So they all stay here until you either delete them or whatever. So you basically are going to have an entire Rolodex of Kahoots that you make, and that students can go back and find, as long as you make them public. Now you could make some private, that's fine, but again, the one thing that's nice is they do have a searching feature. So if you make thousands of Kahoots, you have that much time, you can go and look through subjects and figure out which one that you want. So anyway, we're done, we're ready to go. So let's go to the next thing, second to last thing that we're going to do, and this is sharing. So sharing a Kahoot, very similar to making it public. Say you wanted to make yours private, and you're like, you know what, I really don't want anyone to see this. Or maybe you made one and you made it public, but you're like, you know what, I want to give this to some of the people in my department. I want other people, hey, other people in my course are doing a review these next couple of days. I've made a great adding Kahoot, or whatever your subject is. I want to share this with my peers. So how do I do that? So what you can do is you can share with other users. So down here it says share your Kahoot. So you can do this over Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, through Google Plus. My school just has Google Chromebooks now, so I would usually share this over Google Plus, but I'm just going to do this share with others just through Kahoot. So once you click this, you can start typing your friends and colleagues' names. Or if you know their email address, you can type that in. So a teacher that I commonly share with is Leslie Cox. So I know hers is L Cox, C-O-X. And here's the thing. So there's two of them. It's Sims or O1. Now I know this is her. So this is her. So what I can do is I can click on her. Now if you don't know somebody that you want to share with, the best way is probably not sharing through Kahoot, because you need to know their username. So you might want to say, you know what, I'm not sure which Leslie that was. So you know what, I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to share this over mail. I'm going to go to the mail, and I'm going to share it through that. So as you look at this, there's a lot of different things that you can do. There's a lot of different things that you can do here that will allow you to figure out all these different things that you have here. Come on, get out of this, buddy. There we go. Here we go. Sorry. So again, a lot of different things, but I traditionally share with a few people on here. So I would just share using Kahoot, and I'm going to share this with Leslie right now. Hey, Leslie, you're going to get that. Enjoy. Anyway, so that's how you share. It's very simple, very easy. Also, one thing that I'm going to start doing next year, because I just found this out at the end of the year, is I'm going to actually have my students create Kahoots on their own. And make sure when they do this, I'm going to have them all make their Kahoots based on their school email address, and I'm going to have them share them with me. And it allows me to see what they think the most important information is. And I think that's a really big thing for young students in the high school age, because they don't know how to study for a lot of different reasons. They've never really had to study for big tests. So using Kahoots and them having to determine what questions are most applicable or most important, I think is a really beneficial thing for us teachers to see, to be able to analyze and say, hey, you know what, the student knows what they're doing, or the student doesn't know what's most important in here. And then them sharing with each other, them getting excited about Kahoots, making Kahoots. I actually had a bunch of kids at the end of the year start making their own fun Kahoots and sharing it with each other, which I found to be great. Even though it was something fun, they're using technology, they're getting out there, they're trying different things, and that only really just shows how big this program is and how big technology is with our students and how they really enjoy using it. So, all right, here we go. The last thing that we're going to talk about, and I'm going to show you today, is starting your own Kahoot. All right, so starting it. So you've made it, whatever. So let's do the one that I made, the adding one. So after I shared it with others, I'm going to play it now. All right, so I'm going to play this Kahoot. So I'm going to click play now. Now, what happens here is you can determine or decide as a teacher, do you want to make it the classic mode or the team mode? Again, I talked about the difference between the two. Classic, everyone plays on their own device. Team mode, if you only have 5 or 6 computers or not everyone can play, you play in a team mode. I traditionally play classic, all right? So I'm going to click classic. So what this is this screen right here that you're going to see. This is the beginning screen. So up here at the top, as you can hear this lovely music that is on here, I'm going to turn this down. Up here at the top, this is how students join it. They're going to go to kahoot.it. So it's not the same email or a same website as what we've had up here, getkahoot.com or createkahoot.com. This is a completely different site. So kahoot.it. So I actually have that up right here. This is what the screen looks like for anyone on their cell phone, iPad, laptop, tablet, whatever. This is what their screen's going to look like. And they're going to need to type in this game pin, the pin that your main screen, so your projector or your smart board, it's going to show up there. They're going to type that in here. So because we're playing this one, 426162, I'm going to type that in here. 426162. I think that's correct. 426162. Okay, so they're going to type this in and boom. Now, what happens is they are going to make a nickname. Now, again, teachers, make sure that you speak with your students about polite and appropriate nicknames. I've had kids make up some funny ones or actually start to kind of, in a way, bully other kids. So they have to use their own name. I always say, if I don't know who you are by your name, you're not getting points for this or credit for this. So I'm going to do Mr. Q. So there's my name, Mr. Q. Here we go. So, okay, go. So now I'm in. So I'm going to wait for the rest of the people. There's no one playing this, but I'm going to wait for the rest of the students. Now, this is what you're seeing. They see this. You're in and they're ready to go. It says, see your nickname on screen. And this is always a big thing just to make sure you have it. Hey, there's Mr. Q. There he is. He's on my main screen, the projector, the smartboard. What I like to do is, again, I tell students appropriate names. If they choose an unappropriate or inappropriate name, you can actually kick them out. Notice this score, this X, you can kick them out and boom, they're done. Sorry buddy, you're out of here. So anyone who's not appropriate or not doing the right thing, you can kick them out of here. But anyway, I got to get back in. Oh man, what is it? 426162. All right, so again, Mr. Q, here we go. I'm ready to rock and roll. So now, back to here, everyone's in. So over here to the right, this is how you start it. So this is now the front screen. This is where you could have a picture if you'd like to, but this is how it goes. So question 1 of 2. So this is the question, 5 plus 8, and they have to give you your answer. So this is what it looks like on the screen. You see 10, 13, 3, negative 3. So up here, 5 plus 8 is 13. Clearly it's the blue one. So I can't answer it here. This is the home screen. I have to go back to my normal screen, and this is what the students see. So I'm going to click blue. So the student sees this, and they say, oh my gosh, I'm correct. Oh, I got it. Or if they get it wrong, oh no, I didn't get it correct. And notice this is plus 570. That's how many points they got for this. So you go back to the home screen. Hey, one person answered. You get a little bar graph showing how many students got something right. I think that's a huge feature. Another thing is if you had an image, maybe a graph, a picture, if you had a lot of students get it wrong, this icon show image is great because what it does is it would show the picture that you have. I don't have a picture on there, so I don't need that. All I can do is go back up here and say, hey, clearly we're not getting something right. Let's go and let's see how we do this. If you'd like, do that in your classroom. Otherwise, show them the picture and explain why the answer was what it correctly needed to be. But anyway, I got that right. Yay, okay, great. Now here is the best part and the thing that actually gets my students going crazy is seeing the scoreboard. Now, there's only one person in there, me, in this Kahoot. But when there's multiple kids, 20, 30 kids in a Kahoot, there can be thousands of kids. The scoreboard only shows the top 5 students. And I'm a huge advocate of that. I'm a high school baseball and football coach, and I love competition, but I love how they only show the top 5 because this is a formative assessment. Students aren't expected to be experts at this material right away. So I don't want to hurt any kids' feelings. I don't want them to be discouraged. I want them to be excited about learning and excited about getting better at it. So it only shows the top 5, and that gets some excitement because kids want to see their name up there. They want, they want to start getting excited and, kind of cheering for themselves. The one thing that is kind of cool, and you won't be able to see it here, is it says what place you're in. So it says you're number 1. Well, I'm the only one here. But if there were multiple people and if I wasn't in first place, or even if I was, it would show how far behind the next person was to me. So it would say, oh, you're in 6th place. Jonathan's 25 points behind you, and you're only 6 points behind Carolyn. So it allows you to see who you're ahead of and behind. So you can see how quickly you need to answer the next one, or maybe somebody needs to get something wrong for you to see this. So anyway, you get up here, you go ahead, and we can go and we can see the last question. 5 plus 10, that's 15. So again, up here, the students see the answers and the colors. They go onto their own screen and have to choose the right answer. Now, clearly, 5 plus 10 is 15. That's yellow. I'm going to answer this wrong. All right, so we're waiting. This is what I see. Oh, no, I got it wrong. The correct answer. So they tell you what the correct answer is. And because I got it incorrect, my points up here was 570 don't go up. So other people might have gotten it right and might have surpassed me, but you do not go down. You do not lose points for getting it incorrect. So that actually kind of helps students for not like freaking out. It'll allow them to guess a little bit more, but it doesn't kind of deter from them wanting to learn. I find this to be a really positive game and a great way for students to feel confidence and build confidence in the material that you're learning. So back here, oh man, look at that, Mr. Q still here. And again, you would have seen on the last screen, I clicked a little fast. You would have seen the bar graph showing how many people got each one right and wrong. And that again is a really big thing that I found. So you've learned everything that I could teach you in Kahoots, creating your own account, managing your own homepage, searching through the public Kahoots, editing a public Kahoot, creating a Kahoot on your own, sharing a Kahoot, and then starting it and seeing what students see. I love Kahoots. A teacher showed me them in the middle of last year, and I wasn't sure of what they were. I had a lot of stuff going on, and one weekend I just kind of took a look at the website and I fell in love with it. My students love it. I use them almost every day, either as a brain break or as a formative assessment to see what my students have learned throughout the day. It's really quick. It's really easy. Again, once you do a Kahoot, you can actually leave this up. So I'll leave this website up, and all I have to do is just click on a bunch of different things. I'd go to my Kahoot, and I just click on a different Kahoot every single day, so my students can go ahead and see what was going on here. I really am a huge fan of this. I hope you learned a lot on this. Again, I will, along with this, I'm going to put the times on here, so when you refer back to this, if you're like, oh man, I really want to do this Kahoot, I really want to make my own, or I really want to edit or share or whatever, you can go back here and I'm going to put the times of where in my video these certain parts are, so you can scroll to it so you don't feel like you have to watch the entire thing, and you can save some time, because again, time is valuable. We teachers, we work our butts off. We need to enjoy some time, spend it with our family, do things we love, and I will tell you this, you will love using Kahoots. I know I do. I hope you learned something from this, and have a great day.